If your algorithm looks anything like mine, you get a lot of this sort of content.
So the first step in activating your feminine energy is obviously looking feminine.
I've been working on being in my soft girl era for the last 2 years.
These are signs of a high value man.
Your 2025 rebrand is going to be life-changing.
You are engaging with media. Media uses frameworks. They have to create a boundary upon which we are explaining things. And these ideas can change how you think. That's where the brain rot comes in. Trendy phrases like feminine energy or high value man, these are just marketing tools designed to repackage basic ideas into clickable, shareable content. So if you are taking them literally and not seeing them for what they actually are, it's going to affect you. Especially when the person who are sharing this content is trying to get a rise out of people, they're using very polarizing or upsetting language. They're sharing ideas that are harmful. And if you are unaware of it, if you can't see it, it's going to set you back. So in this video, I want to go through some of the most common ones I see on my feed, and hopefully that will help you understand what you are being communicated better. First, let's talk about feminine and masculine energy. This is one that I'm not entirely opposed to these ideas of the feminine and the masculine. They're just, it's like yin and yang. These have existed throughout time. And, you know, it's understandable that people will resonate with these things. What I want you to be careful of, though, is when people use feminine and masculine energy to replace gender roles, essentially. So if anyone ever says, in order to be in your feminine energy, you have to look a certain way or wear a certain thing or do your hair a certain way, they're full of nonsense. That is just them saying, behave more feminine. I do not want to contribute to putting myself in a cage. I like feeling feminine. I like feeling masculine. I like them both. Sometimes I worry that we are playing into these gender roles way too much. I'm okay with people saying like, your feminine energy means you're free flowing, you're creative, you're not taking yourself too seriously, you're being expressive, you're not trying to control everything around you, you're focusing on yourself, you're focusing on loving yourself and on self-care and all that stuff. That to me, that's fine, whatever. Like, I get that. What I need you to understand is that is just them saying, chill the f out. When a content creator who means well and isn't just perpetuating outdated gender roles is talking about feminine energy, and they're talking about how to be more carefree, how to just go with the flow, how to stop trying to control everything, how to take care of yourself, they're repackaging a very simple idea of just chill the out. They're trying to do it in a trendy way. Another one, soft girl era. So it's sort of a way to encourage women to relax and embrace vulnerability. You don't have to hustle so hard. You don't have to be so obsessive all the time, because a lot of women were taught that they have to fix everything. They have to have everything under control. They have to be in control at all times and have a color coordinated calendar and know exactly what's going to happen when and predict the future and start juggling, like all of this stuff. We are giving ourselves hypertension. Your soft girl area is about allowing yourself to go slower. We are all exhausted. We need to chill out. Another term, high value woman or high value man. Basically, if you see something that says like high value woman or high value man, it's repackaged advice about confidence. It's about setting boundaries, having self-worth. It's about having your worthiness not dictated by dating. Are you going to be obsessed with this person and that's the only thing you're doing? If that's the case, then you have a lot of voids in your self-concept and in who you are as a person that you should maybe work out before you start bringing other people into your life. When someone says, I'm looking for a high value man that offers me value, I cringe a little bit. I just think of like, am I buying him? Is this like a transaction? Like, do you need a credit card? What is happening? I try to listen to the content that is using that rhetoric, and I think, can I replace what they're saying with a man who values me? You need a high value man. I need a man that values me. There we go. We fixed it. Another one I see a lot is rebranding yourself. So I think that this is so interesting because this has to do with like your identity and social dynamics. I've never really resonated with the whole rebranding yourself thing, because that to me feels like you are centering other people's experience of you in your own life. And I don't like that. I understand when people say rebrand yourself, they mean reinvent your public persona or social image, and it's just repackaged as a self-help strategy. I do know that a lot of people use the alter ego, like Sasha Fierce for Beyonce, to sort of embody a different type of persona. Beyonce is a very shy person and she wants to be a larger than life presence on stage. So I can understand that, and I think there is value in that, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of the rebrand yourself content, because I'm not centering other people's experience of me in my own daily life. If I had to go out on stage like Beyonce does and I had to go like kill it in front of thousands of people, that would be helpful. it could be helpful if you're making content like this. But I don't think in my everyday life I want to think about rebranding myself for other people. I want to think about what kind of woman I want to be. So that content doesn't really resonate with me that much. But if you've clicked on that content, then I want you to challenge yourself in asking, like, why is it that I am so preoccupied with how people perceive me? What is it about this idea of rebranding myself that's so appealing? And can I simply do it for me? Can I find a way to frame this self-help strategy that it's more about what I want and not what others want? Oh, hey, editing Charlotte here. This is about as unbranded as you get, because if you look right here, I have a boot on my foot and I'm watching The Vampire Diaries. That's Nina Dobrev. And I just had surgery on my foot. So I'm looking a little crusty musty, but I wanted to weigh in on some stuff that I didn't actually mention in the original filming of this video like 2 weeks ago. I feel like I was unclear, so let me just add some stuff here. The idea of rebranding yourself is a framing technique that people use in order to suggest a new way of fake it till you make it. There is something to this idea of thinking about how you want to be and then pretending to be like that. I think that can work for some people because it helps you do the thing, and doing the thing creates new neural pathways in your brain. It creates new habits, and that's ultimately how you change your life. The problem with rebranding yourself as this advice is you're starting from the outside in, and I personally have found in my life that that does not last. I need to start inside out. It needs to start from within me. I need to work on my internal needs, my emotional regulation, understanding myself, becoming like obsessed with who I am as a person and what I want and what I need. If I start to look for external validation, like, okay, how does that person perceive me? That is a problem in my view. What I worry about is when people are looking at this aesthetically pleasing rebrand yourself content. First of all, it's not going to allow themselves to actually get in touch with what they really want. They're going to want to just do what looks good. And I personally have found that if you are trying to live your life thinking about what other people perceive you as, you will be miserable. You will go insane. I have no desire to do that anymore. That was a younger girl's game. I'm not into it. I'm all about getting to know yourself, understanding your feelings, understanding your emotional regulation and your triggers and what you need to do in order to feel right in your body and to walk through the world in good spirits. And it really needs to come from within. And I feel like the rebranding yourself content is all going at it completely backwards. I really do think it comes down to emotional regulation, gratitude, not allowing yourself to get stuck in a victim mentality, recognizing that no matter what your situation is right now, it will improve and everything is always working out for you. And I think having some sort of higher power helps with that, but I'm not going to push that on anybody. Do what you want in that situation. But ultimately, the rebranding yourself content is coming at the self-improvement genre backwards. Basically saying, create a superficial life based on appearances that will then ultimately translate into internal changes. And that hasn't worked for me personally. I'm gonna go back to healing and watching The Vampire Diaries and editing this video. Thank you. I am not so chronically online that I believe that people who behave online behave that way in real life. I have a solid footing in the real world. And so I know for a fact that most women aren't spending hours and hours every day getting ready. Like, they're not putting on hours and hours of makeup. They're not doing their hair for hours and hours. They're not spending all this time and money on their appearance the way influencers do, because it's their job to look and act and do certain things. My goal is to show up on here as close as I can to how I behave in the real world. And I think I do a pretty good job. It's hard to just talk to a camera and be yourself 100%, especially since I don't entirely know who I'm talking to. Like, I can guess, I have an idea, but you could be anyone looking at this video right now. And I have always been so shocked at people saying like, oh my God, you have such a natural look. It's so weird. You don't look like the normal influencer. You don't look like the normal content creator. I'm like, babe girl, I look like a human being. This is like, I'm wearing some mascara and some concealer right now. Like, this is what people look like. What are you talking about? You go outside, you see people, right? So it's always so surprising to me that people will react that way. Also, like, I don't dye my gray hair. And people find that shocking. I'm like, why? What is this preoccupation? I think that a lot of people are actually thinking about a social image of themselves rather than what they want. I love my gray hair. Another framed idea is that girl aesthetic. Again, this is very similar to rebranding your life. You have this idea of an it girl. You have this idea of an aspirational lifestyle that is really fun to watch unfold. Like you'll watch these vlogs and all that stuff and you want that life for yourself. That girl content is encouraging self-discipline and structure in your life. And that can be appealing to girls that need to chill the fuck out, right? There's a theme here. You are that girl to someone else. I think I have my life together pretty well, but my apartment's a mess right now. I don't run 5 miles a day or, like have a aesthetic looking apartment or anything like that. It is a projection of the media that we are watching. They are framing it in a way that looks appealing, even though it may be exhausting. Like they may not have time to do all of those things. They may hate that green juice that they are forcing down their throat. Just be aware. 2 framing techniques that I actually really like are main character energy and romanticizing your life. I think they're very related to one another. These are really good techniques for people who are struggling with low self-esteem, and it basically makes them more aware of how they are moving through life and how they are moving through the world. And they can decide what kind of day they're having. With romanticizing your life, you're focusing on the tiny things that feel really good. It's encouraging mindfulness throughout your day and enjoying small moments like glimmers throughout your day that just make you feel good. And when it comes to main character energy, it's about living your life with more confidence and self-awareness. And what happens in a movie, a character is going to go through an unknown adventure and they're going to change from what they were at the beginning to what they are at the end of the film, and they're going to learn something along the way. And it's a beautiful hero's journey that we all aspire to have throughout our life. But these terms are being curated as if we are living our life through a movie. And I think a lot of that is coming from the fact that we are engaging with our screens so much. We are watching everyone else live their lives through vlogs and all this stuff. I really do think that that language is a direct result of the media environment we are in now. I don't really mind it as long as you don't feel like you have to be watched in order to have value. I actually made this video a while back about romanticizing your life and main character energy, and I go into a lot more depth about what I think it means and why I actually like it as a trend. So if you want to check that out, you can click on the screen and feel free to leave a comment and subscribe if you got value out of this video. I really appreciate you being here. And until the next one, bye guys.